Well, I think that the fact that San Diego is run by the military is a very important cultural thing here. That it makes a city very conservative. That the liberal thought is repressed, and that a lot of people who come here, comes here from I think that they come attached to the military because of that, and then once they discover this is a wonderful place, and then they return here. I said at one time that San Diego is a place where people from the Middle East come to learn how to be Californians and never learn. And the reason why they don't is because there's not an established kind of way of being in here, really. So it's like people are trapped in here. I think that the majority of people in San Diego are trapped here because they don't have anywhere else to go.
My name is Perry Vasquez. I've been in San Diego since 1987, so I've seen several layers of galleries and art scenes come and go, and great artists come and go, frustration goes out. My own existential situation in San Diego, I've always thought is very similar to the character in The Magic Mountain, Hans Castorp, if anybody has read The Magic Mountain. He goes to the sanitarium to visit his cousin for a couple of weeks. He ends up staying for 5 years. I came in here in '87 to get an MFA for 3 years, and 22 years later, I'm still here. So I guess you'd have to say part of that is passivity on my part. But another part of it is that I was lucky. I felt I was lucky that I found my voice in San Diego. And having done that, I really have been able to talk myself into persevering through the tough times. I think that the question of culture in San Diego is one which we could debate endlessly tonight. And I think if there's a defect of the mainstream art scene or the content of the general art show here in San Diego, is that it does tend to look north. Several people have commented on this, is that it's kind of a knockoff of Los Angeles. Even the Oceanside show now, Pop Surrealism, that's a brand that comes from LA. Granted, all the artists are all from San Diego, but it's a little bit of a cultural imperialist move on the part of the Los Angeles hegemonic art mentality. To me, you really, in order to understand this area, you have to go to TJ. You have to dip into that culture because it's intense. San Diego is laid back. To me, like San Diego is fire, and TJ is fire, and San Diego is water. There's always some incredible set of cultural circumstances that artists are responding to there, and just somehow here in San Diego really do feel buffered from those intense cultural trends. And so I would say that in order to be an artist in San Diego, you have to push yourself to cross borders. You really can't just sit back in San Diego and enjoy the climate and expect to make a worthy, world-class art out of it, which is a temptation.
I'll wait for that.
I know that Katherine is having a story about Barry.
Yes.
Next week at City Day.
Maybe next week.
Maybe
Next week, Terry will be good.
You can put in a plug there,
Yeah.
like Letterman, right?
And they run a gallery in Tijuana. You guys can all come down next month. Anyway.
Barry's, you might add, if we give context, Barry's an artist that's been written about a lot through the years. I've written about 3 or 4 times, probably in the last 15 years. And he's had shows at various, including the Museum of Contemporary.
I just thought it might be appropriate to give a different opinion on that same idea. My response to this would be why I came back to San Diego. The idea that there's several people that are transplanted here, I definitely, I mean, I was born here. I didn't know that, like, San Diegans had a perversely different outlook on things until maybe I went to graduate school and I met other people that said, you know, I can't believe that this is your reality. You know, I went to UC San Diego at a time when I thought I'd be a high school art teacher, and there was one person that I wanted to study with at UCSD, so I applied, and I was able to study with that person. When I graduated, right afterward, I became a professor, and then I got tenure, and I decided to resign and come back to San Diego with no job prospects whatsoever. Primarily because I didn't want to spend, you know, I just turned 30. I didn't want to spend my 30s stuck in the Pacific Northwest in a comparatively more vibrant art scene, but one which still didn't speak the language that I was interested in speaking as an artist. And I like the idea that in a democratic society, art can be an elitist idea, that if you have access to everything, then, you know, you can go to the library, you can go to university, you can go and talk to people, you know, that you're allowed to be elitist. And I like the idea also that art is a practice like law or medicine might be a practice with precedence. And when right before I made my decision to come back here, I had gone to a residency at the Banff Center, and it was all conceptual artists, 30 people from 9 different countries, and that was like my community for 7 weeks. That was like utopia for me. And it finally dawned on me that I was never going to be in a situation, a geographic situation, where I was within a community, you know, where people understood the precedents that I understood and were interested in the things that I was interested in. So it made sense to me to come back to the place that I loved and felt comfortable with, that I didn't have to worry about, like, getting wet or being cold, you know, or any of the things that I felt like in Seattle. And I could just be happy because when I'm in my studio, it's trying enough. Building a career even in the art world where economic validation is parallel to art validation 95% of the time, and I'm interested in the 5% of the time that it's not. You know, why not at least, you know, work on my tan in the office?
All right, let's do one more and then move on to maybe more. I don't know. We saw back there. Okay.
This kind of goes against the grain, but I grew up with a mother who painted, and she wasn't really validated, but she painted because she loved it. She painted every day, and what she painted was beautiful. And I think most of us that are artists have that capacity to make something, you know, artists, we make something beautiful, it's our own, and maybe it's recognized and maybe it's not. She eventually sold everything she painted, but she was not trying to at all. It was just seen, and I think somehow if we could just hold on to that dream and get better, you know, even when we're criticized, and when we listen to people, and if we had a forum where we could listen to people, and people, you know, we could criticize and go back and forward, we could grow. And I think that's sometimes I feel like in San Diego, I was born here, it's really hard to grow.
What was your name?
Diane Bliss.
Yeah, let's. Sure.
I'm not going to sit here and allow people this self-indulgence or self-flagellation. The way this question was phrased is, why do we stay in San Diego? It should have been rephrased. Why isn't the rest of the world coming to San Diego? That's the real question. And once again, it comes down to audacity, my friends. You must take control of it yourself. I was a little bit shocked when I came out here and I started this radio show, because believe me, I was not born into the internet revolution. I had to learn it, and I'm an old dog learning new tricks. I was shocked that there was not some 20-year-old starting an internet radio station, a radio show on internet about art. I was really shocked. But my point is this: we don't have anything to apologize for here. We have a vibrant art community here. We got lots of great artists. It's just a matter of getting the rest of the world to know about us, and the key is the internet.